podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe. For the intelligent, black men is relevant. Why ask questions when you know the answer? So we bypass outlast channels, no gossip. We about that life. Tune in, subscribe, hop in the broadcast, stay current. Dennis Berlin podcast, vibe with it. On the couch, leaving your house so you can ride with it. Voice of black excellence with no frontin'. In the space we speak how we feel. The blizzard's coming.
Have pride in yourselves. Don't be so hard on yourselves. That's the other thing. Don't let this world keep kicking you and making you feel like you're not good enough. You plenty. I don't care if you're 10 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, 30 pounds underweight. You don't make enough money. You make too much money. You're too tall. You're too short. You're perfect the way you are. And I want you brothers to begin to take that. A lot of you guys did not have father figures to reinforce these things in you. You don't have that manly, fatherly love supporting you in the back of your head saying, son, you can go out there. The world is yours. I'm not your fathers, but I love you like I'm your own uncle. We all want people. And so I'm telling you, brothers, I love you as a person that most people would say is successful. I'm telling you the opportunity is out there. And most of you guys are doing much better than I was at your age. You're more confident. You got the world, you got the benefit of people like me who've made mistakes. And I want to see you ball. That's it. That's why successful people move out of the... Your incarceration rate is down. The education rate is up. We up. We went from a group of men who were brought to this country in the hulls of slave ships. I know we got the pretendians out there that's saying that we still here, but the DNA test says otherwise, just like your baby mama. So, for my brothers who know their history and know where we came from and know what we've been through for hundreds of years, the fact that over 60% of black men have now reached the middle class your seed is the most important thing that you produce in this world. It's not the art that you produce. It's not the buildings that you create. It's not the amount of money you make. It's not the amount of people who like you. It is your legacy.
But since we don't live in our culture no more, we say what we want to say, do what we want to say. We tear our men down and then wonder why they don't make good husbands and fathers. Mothers destroy sons. His mother can speak to him in certain ways that destroy him in ways that can never be repaired.
Salute the black men.
Started with mama issues, afraid to question anything that was that bitch in you. Grown ass men, we letting this shit continue. Adolescent feminine ways, why men offend you. Mama boy, she love thugs, her secret lover. That's why she keep these niggas inside the covers. Put the nigga aside, homie, I'm your brother. Close father saving us, having the same mother. Iron sharpens iron, we learning from one another. No jealousy or envy, going through life struggles. You told your mama you was outside, wanted to hang. Now you wearing colors and just joined the gang. No money, so the OGs taught you how to slang. Jackers rolled up and all you heard was bang. On the side of the curb, leaking out your brains. Quiet women sing, single mama lost again. Black men, we gotta change. Salute the black men. We number one if you talking about top 10. I salute the black men. Child support kids don't belong to him. I salute the black men. She lied on you and sent you to the pen. I salute the black men. Dealing with the pressure and oppressor getting lesser, cause we deserve the best of. Coming home from work and life issues, I just want a meal, end up with fights with you. You just need to chill, remember I'm right with you. So fucking masculine, swinging and I ain't hit you. What's your fucking issue? You don't love me, you love what I can get you. Don't let the kids you love being a bitch you. 911 police saying I hit you. I got video footage, you lying bitch you. Why you think we locked up options with you? Making love to the enemy out to get you. That big ass and a smile might convince you. Graveyards that's filled, we on the menu. Penitentiaries packed, men continue to be the simps and she provided the venue. No respect, so black men we've been through. Nigga,
Black fathers are more likely to help their children with their homework, prepare meals, bathe and dress their children compared to fathers of other races. So the absent or deadbeat black father myth that many in America believe is really more like a lie.
The black men, we number one if you talking about top 10. I salute the black men. Child support kids don't belong to him. I salute the black men. She lied on you and sent you to the pen. I salute the black men. Dealing with the pressure and oppressor getting lesser, cause we deserve the best. I salute the black men. We number one if you talking about top 10. I salute the black men. Child support kids don't belong to him. I salute the black men. She lied on you and sent you to the pen. I salute the black men. Dealing with the pressure and oppressor getting lesser, cause we deserve the best of.
Salute the black men.
I salute.
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 Salute the black men.
Men, black men, I want to salute.
Fuck your black.
I like that.
Salute the black men.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. This is Uncle D, man. As you all know, I'm still on vacation, baby. I could be out here hanging out there, but I'm here talking to y'all. So make sure you show Uncle D some love, man, by subscribing to the channel. YouTube has been unsubscribing my subscribers. So y'all, man, make sure y'all show me some love by doing that, handling that for me. But anyway, I'd like to welcome everybody to the chat room. If you can hear me, hit the number 1 button. Shout out to my man, Glow Hardy. Big up to you. Big shout out to Mark the Freelancer. Thank you so much, brother, for being here for so long. Who else we got up in here? Where are the rest of my ICE Lords? I want all my ICE Lords to check in. We talk about money. Somebody type money in the chat room. Somebody type making money in the chat room. Somebody type keeping money in the chat room. We talk about success. We're going to talk about getting paper. We're talking about doing what we have to do as men to make sure that we can ensure our legacies. That's what's up, you know. Kevin Samuels inspired me to do this. I was resistant, you know. He was the one who told me to get better cameras. I was resistant because I didn't want to spend money. This was just a YouTube thing, a little fun thing I did. But basically, man, the brother, you know, even 2 years later, I say, you know, maybe it is my obligation to try to help you brothers learn how to do what I did. You know, pull yourself together, get yourself together, put your priorities in order, make sure you secure your legacy. All of these things, man, all of these things are necessary. We missed our masculine training as young men. and I'm talking to my brothers, and I know there's been a lot of back and forth on YouTube, especially in my comments section, where a lot of brothers, a lot of people who are not black are saying, well, why don't you shift your message to address all men? And I had to let the fella know, well, I'm not an all man. I'm a black man. And as a black man, I'm an advocate for black men. And that just makes sense. And it's not that I don't hope that all men can reap the benefit of what I'm saying here. And if you do, that's great. I salute you. I'm happy you can. But for the most part, my message is directed towards black men. And so, nevertheless, since we're talking about a situation at all men, and you may be able to cull some information. And the truth is, a lot of my messages are directed towards all men. If you take out the things that are unique to African American men in the United States, it addresses the condition of men in general in most of the Western countries. Now, today, we're going to talk about insecure men. Okay. We're talking about insecure men and how they allow superficial, image-obsessed women to kill wealth. Okay, and that's something that all men deal with. And so, first of all, I'm Dennis Sperling, Uncle D, the Blizzard King, and I want to welcome you all back. Today, again, we're going to dive into a hard truth and that many of us need to hear, but few want to acknowledge. All right, we're going to talk about what it really means to build a life, a legacy, and relationships that stand the test of time. You see, to many men out there, you're leading with your wallets instead of your character. And it's costing them everything. They're caught up in trying to be the hero, throwing money at problems, thinking that what makes them a man is how much money they can use to sway women. Meanwhile, they got women playing the role of princess, expecting to be pampered and catered to without giving anything of any real substance. Okay. And this broadcast is about pointing out the mistakes. It's about learning from and about learning from those mistakes. And we're going to break down how to lead with character, avoid the traps of superficial relationships, and build a legacy that's rooted in something real, something lasting. We'll discuss why financial independence isn't just about making money, but about managing it wisely. We'll talk about the importance of long-term planning, prioritizing your health and well-being, and why you should never build your life on appearances. Somebody type fake in the chat room. Somebody type fake in the chat room. I don't have my jelly jar, so I'll be drinking out of this nifty hotel cup. Somebody type fake in the chat room. Right. Gentlemen, it's time to break the toxic cycle of the hero-princess dynamic. And it's time to focus on what really matters: integrity, mutual respect, and the kind of legacy that won't crumble the moment you're gone. So let's get into it. The story we're going to talk about happens to be about a gentleman named Brandon Miller. And for those of you who are in real estate, and for those of you who are in the financing, you probably already know what happened to this gentleman recently. But from a perspective that resonates deeply with our community and experience and aspirations, because what I'm calling a hero is really a simp. Okay, somebody who thinks they can save a woman with money. He's a simp. He's willing to bend over backwards for a woman. And so I don't want to dig into that terminology too much, because I want everybody to be able to understand where we're coming from. But anyway, this is not just a story about financial missteps. It's a powerful lesson about the choices we make and the wife we choose. As many of you know, Brandon Miller, those of you in real estate, Brandon Miller was a successful real estate developer, and he tragically ended his own life under the crushing weight of $34 million of debt. Somebody type 34 million in the chat room. All right. And some of you are under $3,400 in debt and you don't know what to do. He's under $34 million in debt. And his story is a stark reminder of the importance of adhering to certain principles like principles that I've spoken about, and we're going to break that down and what went wrong and what we can learn, especially in light of the action of his wife, Miss Candace Miller, who herself is a social media influencer who is very popular amongst the ladies. She has a blog. It's called Mama Tata. Now, Brandon Miller's life was the epitome of what many would call the American dream. He was a successful real estate developer. And mind you, this just happened the other day. Okay, so we're talking about something that happened in August where he unalived himself. Okay, but under the circumstances, I want you to understand, he's a successful real estate developer who climbed the ranks in one of the most competitive industries in the world. He built his career in the heart of New York City. Shout out to NYC. And he developed a commercial and residential projects in places like Tribeca, Harlem, and the meatpacking district. And from the outside, Brandon had it all. He had a thriving business. He had a beautiful family and the kind of lifestyle that, many of us dream or think that we want. But beneath the surface, the reality was far from the image he projected. See, Brandon's life was a constant struggle to keep up with the demands and expectations placed upon him, many of which were self-imposed. He did it to himself. He was a man driven by a deep need to be the hero, to be the provider, the one who could offer his family the best of everything. He married Candace, a woman whose love for luxury and appearances matched the lavish life he could provide. She was the queen of social media, flaunting their wealth and lifestyle to an adoring online audience, while Brandon remained in the background, preferring the simplicity of a flip phone and a life away from the spotlight. The pressure to maintain this facade became so much. Despite his success, Brandon's financial situation began to unravel. He took out loan after loan, mortgage after mortgage, all to keep up with the insatiable appetite for spending that defined his life. Shout out to Internet Passport. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate you being the first person to contribute to the super chat. Thank you. Now, back to Brandon. As the debts piled up and the business deals became more desperate, Brandon's emotional and mental health deteriorated. He was a man trapped by the very image he had created, unable to admit the truth of his financial ruin. In his final days, Brandon was consumed by desperation. He wept in business meetings. He borrowed money against his own home and struggled to keep his crumbling world from falling apart. When the last deal he had hoped would save them collapsed, Brandon made the tragic decision to take his own life. He left behind a note, admitting the lies he had told, expressing his love for his wife and children, and hoping that the life insurance policy he had in place would secure their future. But in reality, it was far more devastating. The debts and the lawsuits and the shattered illusion of their perfect life came crashing down. Candace quickly moved on. Fellas, you hear me? The wife that he loved so much quickly moved on, supported by friends. While Brandon's legacy was once filled with potential, has been reduced to a cautionary tale of what happens when a man leads with his wallet. Somebody type leads with wallet in the chat room. This is a cautionary tale of what happens when a man leads with his wallet instead of his character. Brandon's story is not just a tragedy. It's a lesson for all of us. It's a reminder that true wealth and success are not measured by material possessions or the images we project, but by the integrity, values, and relationships we build along the way. Here's the thing. Candace's lifestyle was a textbook case of living beyond one's means. The constant luxury spending, from high-end vacations to expensive homes and a weekly floral arrangement, was all funded by Brandon's earnings and an increasing mountain of debt. She would literally order flowers every week. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10,000 worth of flowers. What's the lesson? Well, financial independence is about more than just earning money. It's about living within your means. Both husband and wife should contribute to the financial stability, not drain it. Excessive spending on luxuries without considering the financial impact is a path to ruin, as we see here. You've got to control your finances and not let them control you. Now, here's the thing. Candace's focus was on maintaining an image of affluence, regardless of the reality. And this need to appear wealthy likely placed immense pressure on Brandon, who struggled to fund this unsustainable lifestyle. Choose your partner wisely, fellas. A good woman aligns with your financial goals and values, supporting your efforts to build and maintain wealth rather than undermine it. So your relationship with your woman should be respectful. It should be the sort of thing where both people, husband and wife, works towards mutual financial goals, not where one person is spending money frivolous, which then leads to the family's downfall. The Miller family's wealth was squandered on maintaining an image of luxury. This man, influenced by his wife, lost their house and then rented a $47,000 a month apartment in New York. And she continued spending lavishly, even as their financial situation deteriorated. And it's crucial to preserve wealth through prudent management, and that wasn't it. This means making smart investments, saving and avoiding unnecessary expenses, and renting a $47,000 a month apartment after you've lost your house to keep up images is not it. Wealth should be a tool of security and future prosperity, not to try to stunt and floss and impress people. Now, despite their mounting financial troubles, Candace continued to indulge in extravagant spending. The luxury vacations, designer clothes, high-end services were all symbols of lifestyle that was out of control. Keep in mind, at the time where this man unalived himself, she was on vacation in Europe with their 2 daughters. Think about that. He's at home with the gas pipe hose, a hose attached to the gas pipe, sitting in the garage with the car engine on. And she's on vacation, on a European vacation. I want you to think about that. If nothing else, it lets you know that excessive spending is dangerous. It's easy to get caught up in the allure of luxury, but if your spending isn't grounded in reality, it will lead to a financial disaster. Discipline in spending is key to financial health. There was little, look. There's little evidence of long-term financial planning in the Miller household. Mr. Miller's reliance on last-minute deals to keep him afloat showed a lack of foresight and preparation. Some of you might be asking yourself, why didn't he tell his wife no? Somebody type no in the chat room. Somebody type no in the chat room. Why didn't he just tell his wife no? And we're gonna dig into that. I want, look, we're getting there. I want you guys want me to talk about white people issues. This is what you asked for, right? Let me tell you about your white people issues. All the white people will listen to this. Is for you. Brothers, we deal with this too. Not being able to tell your wife no, being a simp. So you don't want me to start talking about white people issues, because I'm gonna give it to you. Because the truth is, white men have been the biggest simps on the planet for the past 500 years. You've made enemies all across the earth to try to please that white woman. You allowed a system, a family law system, that totally robs men of their wealth and their status as fathers. So you really want me to talk about white people? Here you go. Here you go, white men. This is for you. This is what you've allowed to happen. You've allowed the white woman to enter into the public forum and fill the women of the world's minds up with these notions of feminism. You did that. And now you're complaining about it. And yet you have the nerve to try to castigate and disrespect black men when you're the cause of problems. You want to know why women are out of control? Because you didn't control that white woman that's with you. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and get on back to the subject matter. Since you wanted my attention, I'm giving you white fellas my attention. Now, brothers, as far as learn, because Brandon Miller was white, even though he has a black name, he's white. And so is Candace Miller, and she's white too. All right. Now, as far as long-term planning, that's essential to financial success. You need to think beyond today and plan for the future, saving, investing, and preparing for potential financial downturns. A lack of planning leads to crisis management, which is a receipt for disaster. Now, the stress of maintaining that lifestyle, that contributed to Brandon's declining mental health. Because I don't care what anybody tells you. You have got to be a bit disturbed if you unalive yourself. The pressure to sustain an unsustainable life, it took a visible toll on him. The man was crying in meetings. He appeared sad, he appeared unhealthy. But did she care? Obviously not. Financial stress can have a devastating effect on your mental and physical health. It's vital to recognize when financial pressures are overwhelming and to seek help before it's too late. Your health is your wealth. Somebody type health is wealth in the chat room. Somebody type health is wealth in the chat room. For that being the case, don't sacrifice it trying to keep up appearances. Candace's focus was inward on maintaining her own image and lifestyle. And there was no indication that she used her platform, her huge social media platform, or resources to support the community. She just was showing off. The other thing is, and we talk about this, true wealth is about giving back. Supporting your community not only helps others, but it also helps you build a network. One of the most important things I do is give back to these universities. I give back to other organizations because those same people, when I give to them, they act as my support system. You can't talk bad about Dennis Sperling to the Southern University Law Center. You can't talk bad about Dennis Sperling to some of these other universities around here and my church. They're not trying to hear that. I do too much for them. My pastor refers to me as a great member of Truvine, Greater Truvine Missionary Baptist Church in 5th Ward, Texas. Somebody type 5th Ward in the chat room. I am a great member. You understand me? I don't even sit in the front row, and I'm still a great member. I get a phone call. Brother Sperling, we need you to come. I'm coming. I'm a great member. That's what generosity does for you. This woman wasn't contributing anything to the community. I am in the business of creating a legacy that's bigger than just my personal wealth. Now, what was up with this obsession, the Miller's family obsession with maintaining a luxurious image? Because it ultimately destroyed the man of the house and any legacy they could have left. They left behind debt. He left behind debt and financial ruin instead of wealth and stability for their children. They have 2 little girls. Again, fellas, we're talking about money, wealth, social status, and legacy. That's what we're dealing with. And preserving your legacy is about careful planning and making decisions that will benefit future generations. Don't let short-term desires undermine the long-term security of your family and building something that lasts. Candace's actions, this man's wife, actions were more about maintaining a present day image than preserving something meaningful for the future. There was no focus on building legacy or preserving a cultural or historical significance. And we have to learn on, we need to focus on preserving our culture, our history, our legacy for future generations, and not make the mistake that our previous ancestors made. And so we need to use our resources wisely to create something that outlasts us, something meaningful and lasting. We need to invest in institutions like universities, like churches, like banks, communities, neighborhoods. By flaunting wealth that's not truly yours. Women like Candace likely contributed to the culture of superficiality and materialism that we currently live in. Shout out to my man Black Wall Street. Always good to see that young brother. And TIQS, I see y'all in there, man. That same sort of superficial materialism undoubtedly has influenced others to pursue similar unsustainable lifestyles. And these women who follow these other women on Instagram, TikTok, you're following a fake. Somebody type fake in the chat room. Your woman is worrying you about what some TikTok, YouTube, social media influencer has or is doing. Come to find out they're operating on loans. And now her husband has unalived himself. Look, your actions have a broader impact than you might realize. I know that, and I realize that about what I do. So promoting a lifestyle that's unsustainable can lead to others down the same destructive path. And you're responsible for that. So it's important to be a positive influence, encouraging financial responsibility and long-term planning. Now, here's the thing. Let's analyze Brandon Miller, because there's plenty of Brandon Millers out there of all colors. Many of you guys, Kevin Samuels used to spend night in and night out talking to high-value men before he segued into talking to women. He spent about 5 years dealing with trying to get us together. And so we would definitely categorize Brandon Miller as a high-value man, but his story is complex, and his characteristics reflect both his strengths and his weaknesses. As far as good characteristics, we can clearly say he was ambitious. He was a successful real estate developer, and that shows he had ambition and drive to build a prosperous career. And his willingness to take on significant projects like the one he was dealing with in Harlem. Shout out to Uptown, right? It indicates a strong desire to succeed. He clearly had a great work ethic. His ability to achieve prominence in a competitive field for a real estate development in New York, that definitely suggests a strong work ethic. And he likely dedicated substantial time and energy to his career, aiming to provide for his family and maintain a high standard of living. He was resilient. Despite facing financial difficulties, Brandon continued to try to pursue opportunities and he tried to turn his situation around. His efforts to salvage his financial standing by negotiating deals, even in the face of overwhelming debt, demonstrated a level of resilience. Shout out to Black Wall Street. Good looking out, fam. Got much love for you. Oh, you guys, point of personal privilege. I'm licensed in Michigan now. All my Michigan people, man, check in. I'm going to open a law office in Detroit soon, man. Shout out to everybody in Michigan. I've been telling y'all for a while I love Detroit. I'm going to be hanging out in Detroit soon, man. Y'all, let's link up. All right. Shout out to Michigan. Shout out to Detroit. But anyway, so we're talking about Brandon's and shout out to Black Wall Street. But we're talking about the man wasn't all bad, like many of you. Okay. He was clearly committed to his family. He was ambitious. He had good work ethic. He was resilient. Now, what are the issues that he had? All of that. Well, I think the one that's in our face the most is poor financial management. His ability to manage his finances effectively. He accumulated $34 million in debt, and much of it was unsecured. That means people were just giving this man loans and they weren't asking for any collateral up front. And this indicates, number one, a lack of financial discipline and foresight. And this poor financial management led to his downfall. But if we want to dig down into it and dig deep down into it, it appears to me that Brandon, like many of you, was a simp. Because he struggled to set limits on spending, whether for himself or his family, particularly his wife. Shout out to my man Isbazalam. Thank you so much for the cash app. His wife and her extravagant lifestyle. His ability to curb her excessive spending contributed to the mounting debts and financial pressure he faced. He could not tell her no. Somebody typed no in the chat room. He could not tell his wife no, but why? Instead of telling her no, he overly relied on debt, reliance on loans and credit to maintain his lifestyle and his business ventures. Ultimately proved unsustainable. He couldn't control his woman. He couldn't tell her no. His financial strategy seemed to be depend on borrowing rather than saving and investing, which made his financial situation precarious at best, horrible at worst. As his financial situation worsened, this man seemed unable to adapt his lifestyle or business strategies to address the growing crisis. Instead of saying no and downsizing and making more conservative financial decisions, he continued to allow his wife to try to maintain that unsustainable lifestyle and level of wealth and luxury. This woman was riding on yachts, tanning her toes every day. The woman was taking private jets to Europe on vacation. This is what she was doing. And all this did was put this man under extreme stress and pressure from financial troubles. And that obviously led to his emotional instability. The man was crying in meetings. And that culminated in the tragic decision for him to take his own life. This is how serious this gets, fam. This man wanted to play hero. His inability to cope with the situation in a healthy way, it highlights a lack of emotional resilience under pressure. And all he had to do was say no, but he couldn't. Who are we dealing with? Clearly, this man lacked long-term financial management planning. And his reliance on last-minute deals to solve immediate problems rather than a strategic long-term approach to wealth building left him vulnerable to financial ruin. He wanted to maintain a certain image, both personal and professionally, like he had it, and he didn't. And the pressure to appear successful. Some of y'all are doing the same thing. The pressure to appear successful, even when financial situation was dire, drove him deeper and deeper in debt. Some of y'all are riding around in cars right now you can't afford. You working to pay for a car. You working to pay for a house you can't afford. You bought a $600,000 house instead of a $200,000 house, and you breaking yourself to try to pay for it. Now, the thing is, fellas, what we're going to do is we're going to dig deeper into this woman's personality and her behavior. Because some of you all are dealing with these type of women right now. You may not be married to them. Maybe you are. But we're going to dig into this woman's relationship, the characteristics of this Candace Miller type woman. Because we can't just say gold digger. Somebody type gold digger. She's not just a gold digger. That's too easy. Okay? This is 4th year of grad school class we're dealing with. Gold digger is high school senior stuff. We're past that. This is the Blizzard King you talking to. Somebody type Blizzard King in the chat room. I'm going to give you the cold, hard truth. Who is this woman in the context of her relationship with Brandon Miller? Now, let's not talk bad about the woman. She obviously has good characteristics. She clearly had to be charming and socially savvy. And of course, these sort of traits helped her build a successful platform, as a social media influencer and a blogger. Her ability to connect with an audience and create aspirational lifestyle brand that reflects her charisma and social intelligence. She obviously had a strong sense of aesthetics and style. She described her wedding to a T. This dress and that dress and what she was going to have. Look, her attention to detail and curating luxurious and a polished image is a skill that she effectively leveraged in her career as an influencer. She's obviously loyal to her family. She committed to her family. That's what she, I mean, you know. She loves her children. She loved her sister. The way she talked about her family is, you know, shout out to Mark the freelance. Thank you so much for the cash out. This woman was obviously driven, she had ambition and drive. She co-founded a company called Black Iris, a woman's wear collection, and it managed a popular blog. And this entrepreneurial spirit and drive to create something of her own show ambition and desire to make a mark in the fashion and lifestyle industries. Here's the thing. Just because a person has some good characteristics doesn't mean you're supposed to ignore the bad. Somebody, anybody, if you've learned this lesson, and many of you learned it the hard way, you can't change people. And just because they have good characteristics, those bad characteristics are going to go anywhere. You can't change people. You are not alpha enough to change a grown woman. Can I get a witness? If she's a crackhead when you meet her, she's going to be a crackhead while you're with her. She's going to be a crackhead when you leave her. The question is, how far down are you going to go dealing with her? Now, I'm not comparing this woman to a crackhead. I'm just saying that's an extreme situation. You can't change women. People have to want to change themselves. And she had some bad characteristics. Number one, reckless spending. Reckless spending habits, which went beyond mere extravagance. Her willingness to download, and here's the story. She's taken private jets. And she's downloading movies on the private jets that cost thousands of dollars. You know how I want to watch Ghostbusters 3. $15.99 on Comcast Xfinity. But if you download it in the friendly skies on a private jet, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. We're not just talking about extravagant spending here. We're talking about exorbitant costs. A woman would indulge in spa treatments in hotels without regard for financial impact or reflexive that impact that reflect a significant lack of financial restraint. You're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for hotel stays. Not for the time you spend in the hotel. Shout out to my man Black Wall Street. Not for the time you spend in the hotel, but you're running up the bills here. And of course, all of this behavior contributed to the financial pressures that Brandon faced. He didn't tell her no. These are bad characteristics. Here's another thing. Her focus on luxury brands and high-end fashion and maintaining that image of wealth suggests a strong inclination towards superficiality and materialism. Her lifestyle choices were more about appearance and substance. And we can see this in the detailed recounting of her proposal and wedding, where the emphasis was on expensive shoes, designer dresses, and extravagant surprises. So basically, this man, Brandon, he knew Candace, and they knew each other. They lived across the street from, they lived nearby each other. They didn't hook up early on in life. She was hanging out in New York, and at some point after she got tired of hanging out in New York, there old Brandon was. And so the way in which Brandon proposed to this lovely young lady is he put her wedding ring in a box, a Louboutin box. So this lovely lady takes the Louboutin box, opens it up, takes the Louboutins, and throws the box on the ground somewhere with the wedding ring in it. Gets up, puts them on, runs through the house, calls her sister. And this man has to go pick up the ring and give it to her and say, hey, I'm asking you to marry me. So this is who you're dealing with. This is who we're dealing with. And if you look up the story, it's all there publicly. This is who this woman was. This was a train wreck. The other thing is this woman obviously had a detachment from financial reality. This woman's behavior indicates a detachment from her husband's situation. Despite the mounting debts and financial strain, she continued to live lavishly. Did I mention that she was on vacation in Europe, an extensive European vacation, while this man is in the garage sucking up gas fumes, trying to unalive himself? She's on vacation with the kids. She was acting like she was unaware or even unconcerned about the impact of her actions on their overall financial health. These are the type of women that when a man says you don't have enough money to do this, she'll say, oh, you need to go make money. You need to go make more money. That's the type of woman we're dealing with. In other words, I'm not going to change my lifestyle for you. You just need to go make money to sustain my lifestyle. My God. And he married this woman. Her actions, such as $1,000 on in-flight entertainment, luxury items, show a lack of financial responsibility. She didn't adjust her spending in response to financial difficulties for her husband that he was facing. That suggests negligence and denial of the seriousness of the situation. Her insistence on maintaining a certain lifestyle and image likely added to immense pressure that he was facing. Her need to showcase her wealth publicly. Somebody type stunting for the gram in the chat room. Somebody type do it for the gram in the chat room. Her need to show off her money and status on social media and maintain a high profile lifestyle contributed to Brandon's feelings of inadequacy and desperation and exacerbated his stress. The constant pressure to fund this woman's extravagant lifestyle combined with her apparent disregard for the financial consequences played a serious role in this man's emotional and mental decline. And the lack of empathy or awareness from his wife through her spending What? That's a significant flaw. What type of woman is this? She's superficial. She's demanding. She's image obsessed. And she's opportunistic. And let me explain. Are y'all with me? Let me know if you're with me. If you hit the number 1 button, I'll know you're with me because some of you all are dealing with women like this. Matter of fact, the vast majority of the women that we're dealing with right now in these modern streets, in this modern America that we live in, this modern Western country, are just like that. She's just the prime example. So let's not narrow this down to this one woman, Candace Miller, and her situation with her husband, Brandon Miller. No, she's a prime example of superficial, demanding, image-obsessed, and opportunistic women because her lifestyle revolves around maintaining a luxurious, image-driven lifestyle at the expense of deeper values. Somebody type get the bag in the chat room. Isn't that what these lovely ladies tell you? Huh? Isn't that what all these ladies tell you? Get the bag. Since you all wanted me to talk about white people, you white fellas wanted me to address white people issues. I got you. I'm talking to you. Now, of course, we have this same image issue in the black community. All want to get the bag. But she's superficial. Whether she's black, white, Hispanic, Asian, or whatever. In her constant need to flaunt wealth and status on social media, prioritizing appearance over substance. There's no images of her in there cooking and cleaning and taking care of the house. You got her in there painting her toes on a yacht on a sunny day on the Riviera, downloading $4,000 or $5,000 movies that you can get for $15. She's demanding her. She's demanding in her relentless expectations for expensive gifts and lavish experiences and high-end lifestyle that her husband felt pressure to provide. And her obsession with image is evident in how she curated her public persona, focusing on how others perceive her rather than the realities of her life. She wasn't famous for doing charity work. She was famous for stunting on the ground. And she's opportunistic, as her loyalty appears to be tied to the material benefits that she could extract from her relationship. And after he unalived himself, she quickly moved on. It's August. She already living in Miami somewhere with her sister's husband, who's now paying the bills for the children that she had with Mr. Miller. She's been out in social events. They haven't even buried this man good. How do we identify a woman like this? How do we identify a superficial, demanding, image-obsessed, opportunistic woman? That's what we're gonna talk about. That's what we want. That's because see, this is the all we can do is learn a lesson from it. But you guys hit the #1 button. I'll be right back. The question when we return, fellas, how to identify women who are superficial, demanding, image obsessed, and opportunistic. All right? If you appreciate what I'm doing, y'all make sure y'all hit the #1 button. I need y'all to show me some love, subscribe to the channel. And if you like what you learned, you like this message, make sure you hit the super chat. Be right back.
In this burning podcast, click your mouse pad. Yeah, we out back. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't just hate watch, cause we outside. Let them hate watch, go and play pop. We just lay back. He don't play that. We on playback. We on playback. We go way back. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. This is Dennis Burden Podcast. Don't just hate watch, hit subscribe and let them know we outside. Don't hold hate, donate. Super chat, cash app. Put something in the collection plate. Church.
I want y'all to make sure y'all hit the #1 button. And we're going to kind of get back to what we like to do over here, man. I need y'all to check in at a certain point when it's time to check in. I need to check in it, to checking in to start happening again. We got to go ahead.
Brother Spurley. Brother Spurley met his fiance in my mixed group, and she was doing her thing, Ivy League educated, beautiful sister. He's a successful attorney. Now he's like, shh. That's my wife. I'm gonna put her through law school, and she's gonna become an attorney at my practice. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. I want to call you back to the sister that called into my show who said, when I first listened to you, I didn't like you.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. Y'all show me some love. Y'all show me some love by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you, guys. So here's the thing. We are talking about a very tough topic, okay? Now, the thing is, we talk about insecure men, Insecure men that allow superficial image obsessed women to kill wealth. In this regard, this man unalived himself because he was under so much pressure. You guys, if you appreciate what I'm doing, type the Blizzard King in the chat room. If you appreciate the delivery, you appreciate how I'm coming at this situation, I'm not holding back. Y'all show me some love, okay? Now, here's the thing. How to identify women who are superficial, demanding, image obsessed, and opportunistic. See, these traits, right, while sometimes subtle, can have devastating consequences if you're not careful. Being able to spot these type of women or these type of characters early can save you from a world of trouble, heartache, and financial ruin. Here's what you need to look out for. If you're dealing with a woman, right, and she's focused on appearance over substance, that's a red flag. One of the first signs of a superficial woman is her obsession with appearance. She's always focused on how things look rather than how they are. And this could manifest in constant shopping for luxury items and an obsession with designer brands and an endless need to project a certain image to the world. Her social media might be filled with perfectly curated photos that showcase her lifestyle with little to no substance behind the scenes. Watch out for that. Okay, if she's more concerned with the label on your clothes than the content of your character, you're dealing with someone who's likely superficial. Somebody type superficial in the chat room. Somebody type superficial in the chat room. Another thing is, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna need these. I need 16 more super chats. We got 4 super chats. I'm gonna need 16 more super chats. Y'all make that happen. We talk about money. Y'all need to give me some. I'm earning it. And if you want quality, you want to continue having quality, then you got to go ahead and pay for it. Quality costs. I need 16 more super chats. Next up, constantly demanding attention and resources. Think about that. That's a red flag. A demanding woman will always expect more and more attention, more gifts, more validation. She doesn't appreciate what she has and is always looking for the next thing you can provide. You bought her a bag, she wants a ring. You bought her some shades, she wants some shoes. You bought her a house, she wants the car. And this can be emotionally and financially draining, as no matter how much you give, it's never enough. You take her to dinner, she don't want to go to the Cheesecake Factory. Oh no, she needs to go to Ruth Chris. You need to watch out for that. Look out for that behavior where she's always asking for expensive gifts, high-end dinners, or constant attention, yet rarely reciprocates. She wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire. And here's another thing. She's always keeping score and expects you to be the one doing all the giving. That's dangerous territory. My last boyfriend did this. My last boyfriend did that. My last boyfriend played for the Detroit Pistons. My sister's boyfriend, he was a banker, and he bought her a Lexus Land Range Rover, Bentley. That's a red flag. Here's another one. It's so obvious. Shout out to my man Black Wall Street and for the collection plate, Rip Brandon Miller. And shout out to Drew East. No questions, comments, just for the love. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, fam. I need 14 more super chats. She's obsessed with social media and image. An image-obsessed woman is glued to her phone. All them damn filters. Somebody type filters in the chat room. Constantly posting on social media and worried about how she's perceived by others. Her life revolves around likes, comments, and followers. She's not interested in real connections or deep conversations. She's just concerned about how everything looks to the outside world. She's rocking a designer dress and and a weave that costs $1,000, and when she go home, she's sleeping on an air mattress. Somebody type air mattress in the chat room. She got a pound of makeup on her face, and their children are late to get to school every day. You need to pay attention to how much time she spends curating her social media image versus investing in your relationship. If every moment has to be documented, she's sitting there taking pictures of her food. Every time you go on vacation, she wants you to take pictures of her in the hotel room, looking out the window. Everything needs to be documented. And the focus is on maintaining a flawless appearance. You're likely dealing with someone who prioritizes image over reality. Shout out to my man Ghetto Hauser. Thank you so much. We need 13 more super chats. Here's another one. Overall, general opportunistic behavior. That's a red flag. An opportunistic woman will latch on to you, not for who you are, but for what you can offer her. And I'm not talking about your character and your masculinity and your manhood. No. She's always looking for a way to advance her own status, her own wealth, her own lifestyle through your resources. Her interest in you is transactional. Somebody type get the bag in the chat room. She in it for the bag. Transactional. It's based on what you can provide rather than genuine affection or respect. You got to be wary. If she's overly interested in your financial status, well, how much money do you make every year? Do you make six figures? Date's over. Conversation is over. What's your job? I just met you. Date's over. Who do you know? Who do you hang out with? In other words, what you can do for her socially. Date's over. Red flag. Opportunistic. If she's quick to disappear when you're not fulfilling her material expectations, she's likely using you for a stepping stone, fellas. That's a red flag. Now, some of you know this, but I'm having to tell you this anyway. If a woman has a lack of genuine interest in your life, that's a red flag. A woman who's superficial and opportunistic, she's often going to show very little interest in your life, your personal life, your goals, or your values. She's more interested in what you can do for her rather than who you are as a person. Yeah, I graduated from Carnegie Mellon, you know, in such and such year. I was top of my class. Oh, anyway, yeah. I mean, when you going back to New York? What kind of car are you picking me up in? Is that a Rolex on? Oh, you gonna buy me a Rolex too? She's more interested in what you're doing, what you're gonna do for her, rather than who you are as a person. Oh, you got kids? That's cool. I got 2 kids too. Mm-hmm. You trying to tell her your name? Oh, for real? Oh, yeah. Cool. That's not. Hold on, I gotta go. I'll call you back. Her conversation is shallow. And she deflects when asked about deeper issues or her interests. She's not trying to give you all that information about her. She's not interested in you. She's just interested in what's in your bank and what you can do for her and how you can help her social climb. She rarely asks you about how your day was. She doesn't care. She might use you as an emotional tampon and dump her day off on you. She doesn't care about your feelings or your aspirations or what you want to do. She doesn't listen. Fam, brothers, if the conversations are always about her needs, my rent's due, my car notes due, my mama's sick, my kids are sick, I hate my job. I'm ready to quit. It's clear. It's a clear indication that she's self-centered. That's a red flag. Now, what if she has materialistic tendencies? And I know I'm talking to somebody. If you hear me, if you hear the woman that you're dealing with or a woman that you dealt with in the past and these characteristics, somebody type amen in the chat room. Matter of fact, somebody type yeah in the chat room. Yeah. Let me get a yeah. If this is hitting home, say yeah. If I ain't got you yet, I'm going to get you. Another one, red flag. Materialistic tendencies. In this woman's life, materialism is a major indicator of a woman who's superficial and opportunistic. If her happiness is tied to material possessions, if she judges success by wealth and status of those around her, it's their sign. She may frequently talk about money, wealth, or her desire for high-end expenses. Shout out to the guy in black. Thank you so much. Watch out for discussions that revolve around money and status symbols and her expectations of a lavish lifestyle. If her conversations are more about what you have than who you are, she's materialistic, fam. Red flag. Somebody type red flag in the chat room. See, an opportunistic woman may show inconsistent interest in you, especially when your financial situation changes or she thinks it's changed. If she's suddenly distant when you're going through tough times or when you're not spending as much money on her, or her intentions are likely not genuine. Pay attention. Pay attention to how her behavior changes in different circumstances. If she's only around when things are good or when there's something in it for her, she's not in it for the right reasons, man. Shout out to Alex the Wolf 5. Thank you so much. That's a red flag. You got a demanding woman, often has sky-high expectations, but puts minimal effort in. She's not cooking, she's not cleaning, she's not cooperative, but she expects you to blow the bank on her. At best, she just feels all she needs to do is lay on her back and spread them. And she expects to be treated like royalty without contributing equally to the relationship. This imbalance is unsustainable and will leave you exhausted and unfulfilled. If you're doing all the heavy lifting in a relationship, fellas, whether it's planning, paying, or providing, somebody type that in the chat room. Planning, paying, and providing. If you are planning, paying, and providing while she coasts along expecting everything to be handed to her, you're dealing with someone who's not invested in a balanced, healthy relationship with you, man. High expectations and low efforts. Look, accept the truth. I'm giving it to you. I love you. I want to see you ball. And I don't want to see you get in a situation where you balling and then you lose it all. The other thing, fam, if you got a woman who's both superficial and opportunistic, she more likely than not is going to use manipulative tactics to get what she wants. And this could include guilt trips, emotional manipulation, or playing the victim to maintain control over you in a relationship. And you need to be cautious. If you find yourself constantly feeling guilty for not meeting her demands, she's manipulating you. She's trying to take advantage of you. And manipulation is a key tool for someone who's interested in control than a genuine relationship. She's also self-centered and narcissistic. At her core, you can't be superficial, demanding, image-obsessed, and opportunistic woman and not be self-centered and narcissistic. She prioritizes her needs, her image, her desires over all else, with little to no consideration for anybody else, especially you. You like a battery to be used up and discarded. Everything revolves around her needs, her image, her lifestyle, her family, her desires, her wants, her aspirations. And she shows little empathy or concern for anybody else. Anything. She's displaying classic narcissistic traits that are toxic in any relationship. Now, somebody type red flags in the chat room. Somebody type red flags in the chat room. Identifying these red flags early can save you from emotional and financial toil that comes with being involved with someone who's superficial, demanding, image obsessed, and opportunistic. Relationships should be built on mutual respect, shared values, and genuine affection, not on materialism and manipulation of superficial appearances, brothers. And by staying vigilant and recognizing these signs, you can avoid the pitfalls of toxic relationships and focus on building something real, something lasting with a woman who values you for who you are, not just what you can provide. Somebody type amen in the chat room. Somebody type amen in the chat room. Now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. And when we do come back, we're going to talk about what happens when you lead with your wallet instead of your character. When we come back, we're going to talk about what happens when you lead with your wallet instead of your character. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit the #1 button. If you guys are learning something, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also, don't be cheap with Uncle D. We need another, we need some more super chats. We need about 11 more super chats and I'll be straight. But y'all make sure y'all do that and don't make me stay up too late. Bars. I'll be right back.
I want to see you win. And I put pressure on us men to understand how we did not get our masculinity training. And we have been doing our work, okay? But now it's time for you ladies to understand you're going to have to bet on us like you want us to bet on you. I talked to several men this week. I don't just get on here and talk shit. I have men I call around the world and I ask, what do you think about this concept? Level set me. Shout out to brother Dennis Furley. Dennis, I'm not going to get, well, I don't want to tell people's business, but I'm going to tell you, high value men retire their women or make them come work for them. So ladies, what is it going to take for you to free yourself? Because you and I both know you're dying at these jobs. You're in a toxic.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. We still need 11 more super chats, but we're talking about an important subject. What happens when you lead with your wallet instead of your character? And this is a hard lesson, but it's one that we all need to pay attention to, especially when we're talking about relationships and financial success. Leading with wealth versus leading with character. What do I mean by that? Well, let me be blunt. When we talked about Brandon, okay, Brandon Miller, we know he had money, he had status, he had all the outward signs of success, but he let that define him. And that was his downfall. When you lead with your wallet, you're telling the world, this is what I have, and this is why you should value me. That's dangerous. It's a dangerous game because it attracts people who don't give a damn about you. They don't care who you are. They only care about what you can provide. Shout out to my man, Sir Anthony. Brandon, like many of you, made the mistake of letting his wealth, letting his money, his flashy car, his jewelry, his nice clothes be the things that define him, not his character, not his values. And when you do that, you're setting yourself up to attract a woman like a Candace Miller. Now, the truth is, based on what I've read, and shout out to Sir Anthony, again, thank you. We need 10 more super chats. If I get 10, I'll win. Because that'll be 20, and that's plenty. So y'all make sure y'all show me some love. But let's get down to this woman, Candace. She didn't care about Brandon. They grew up together. She didn't care about him. Shout out to man, Mr. Love, too. Thank you guys so much. She didn't care about him until he made some money, until he got some status. They grew up around each other. But it wasn't until he became successful that she began to show him real interest. What does that tell you? It tells you that her attraction to him was more about his bank account than his character. Candace had already run through the New York dating scene, probably with other wealthy men, before she decided to settle, somebody type settle, quote unquote, settle for Brandon. Let's be honest. She didn't settle for Brandon's demand. She settled for Brandon's bank account, Brandon's money, Brandon's lifestyle he could give her. She saw dollar signs and luxury, and that's what she wanted. And Brandon, instead of recognizing this for what it was, fell for the trap. And here's the thing. Brandon knew this. He wasn't stupid. Clearly, this man wasn't stupid. He knew that Candace's affections were tied to the lifestyle he could provide. So what did he do? He kept pushing. He kept overextending himself financially, trying to keep up with her insatiable appetite for spending. He took on more debt, made riskier decisions, and pushed himself to the brink, all to maintain an image that was never sustainable in the first place. And this is what happens when you lead with your wallet. You end up in a cycle where you have to keep proving your worth through material means. And that's a losing game. It's unsustainable. Brandon drove himself to the point of no return because deep down he knew that if the money ran out, so would Candace's loyalty. And many of y'all are dealing with the same type of women. Tell the truth. Shame the devil. Here's a lesson. True wealth isn't about money in your bank account. It's about your character. It's about the values you stand for, the integrity you maintain, and the relationships you build on mutual respect and shared values, not just financial gain. Now, if Brandon had led with his character, if he had chosen a partner who values him for who he is rather than what he had, his story could have been a lot different. He needed someone to support his goals, encourage his financial prudence, and help build a stable, secure future together. Not someone who drained him dry and it just to keep up appearances. And there's nothing wrong with being rich. That's what we're talking about. But you don't lead with your wallet. You become a person of good character who happens to be financially stable. Not somebody who's financially stable, who leads with that. There's a difference. This woman's reckless behavior, her reckless spending, her obsession with appearances, her complete detachment from financial reality should have been a massive red flag. A man of character would have recognized and walked away. But Brandon, driven by fear of losing her, kept feeding into her desires for luxury at any cost. And look where it got him. In a morgue somewhere. And before that, stressed out, unalived. This man's story isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a damn tragedy. It's a reminder that if you don't set the terms of your relationships, fellas, if you don't establish the boundaries, if you don't tell this woman what it is off top, somebody type off top in the chat room, based on who you are and what you stand for, you'll end up in a situation where you're constantly trying to prove your worth through material means. And trust me, that's a race you'll never win. She didn't even like this man. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because a woman that truly likes you is not going to demand all these financial trinkets and gifts from you. She had ran through all the men and got ran through the New York dating scene. And then she settled for this man. And he paid her what he owed. He paid her for the time she spent with him. And what is he left with? A damaged legacy. The consequences of choices and the lessons we should all take from this are what? Number one, a crumbled legacy. A legacy is supposed to be something enduring, something that stands the test of time and speaks for who you were as a man long after you're gone. It's what you leave behind for your family, your community, even the world at large. But when you build your life on a shaky foundation of material wealth without a solid bedrock of character, that legacy crumbles. And that's exactly what happened to Brandon Miller. Brandon didn't just lose his money. He lost the very essence of what could have been a powerful legacy. His story isn't just about failure or financial failure. It's about the erosion of something far more important, his integrity, his values, and the respect that should have been associated with his name. How many men do you know have been taken out by women? Do you look upon them fondly? Huh? Absolutely not. This man's downfall, like so many other men's downfall, was driven by his obsession with maintaining an image rather than building a true legacy. An image is temporary. It's fleeting. It's a fleeting and shallow design to impress others in the moment. That car you drove back in 2014 is long gone, but who you are remains. Your legacy is deep and meaningful and is built to last. It's supposed to be. It's rooted in the values you uphold and the principles you live by and the impact you made on others. See, this man, like so many of us, made the mistake of thinking that wealth and status could substitute for substance. But when you lead with your wallet, you attract people who are only interested in what you can give them, not who you are. I'm going to say that a couple of more times. In his marriage, his relationship to this woman was a clear reflection of this situation. A relationship more focused on appearances than on genuine connection and shared goals, one made in hell. Shout out to Alex Jones and shout out to Educated Disciple. Appreciate the wisdom, and thank you for outstanding class. Yeah, man, I'm enjoying it. I like talking about money. Somebody type money in the chat room. Somebody type money in the chat room. We're going to talk about money, but we got to talk about how we hold on to money. I need 8 more super chats. Now, the most tragic part of this story about this man's choice is what happened to his family. Instead of leaving behind a legacy of financial security and strong values for his 2 little girls, he left them with debt and uncertainty. And that's a cautionary tale. His children are going to grow up with a memory of their father who was consumed by the pressure to maintain an unsustainable lifestyle, rather than one focused on building something that will last for generations. A true legacy would have been a foundation for financial wisdom, integrity, and character. And his children would have built on that. Instead, they're left to deal with the fallout of his financial mistakes and the realization that their daddy's wealth was all a house of cards. It was a facade. Imagine if Brandon had led with his character instead. Imagine if he had built his wealth as a byproduct of his values, his hard work, and his commitment to making a positive impact. His story could have been one of a man who not only achieved financial success, but also built a legacy that uplifted his family and inspired others. He could have been remembered as a man who made wise financial decisions, who chose a woman, a wife that supported his goals and shared his values, and who left behind something meaningful for his children and his grandchildren. Instead, his legacy is a lesson in what not to do. A stark reminder of the dangers of prioritizing wealth and status over integrity and character. Now, here's the cold part. Somebody type cold part in the chat. Shout out to my man Glow Heart. Here's the cold part. This man's lovely wife has already moved on. And we don't need to sugarcoat it. She quickly moved on. He unalived himself last month, and she's already relocated to Miami, supported by her wealthy brother-in-law and friends. And she's putting her past life behind her. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to rebuild after a tragedy, but let's be honest. This doesn't look like grief. It looks like relief. Shout out to my man TIQ. It doesn't look like grief. It looks like relief. You understand what I'm saying? That she's able to continue living the life she's accustomed to, financial help of her friends who are stepping in where her late husband couldn't. She living in a 24, 25 million mansion down here in Miami. She might be watching this broadcast from across the street right now. Look at that. She might be over there looking at me. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody shout out to TIQS. She might be, look. I'm just saying. This don't look like grief. It looks like relief. She's maintaining a lifestyle that she became accustomed to, real or fake. And that's what happens when you tie your legacy to a woman who values who values for you for your wealth rather than your character. She didn't value, she's not gonna miss him for the man he was and the guidance he provided to her and the father he was to her. She just needed him for the money. And when your money dries up, or when you can no longer provide, women like that move on. That woman is not staying around to clean up his mess. She's distancing herself from it fast. The estate is on the market. She's fled to Miami. And there's no indication that she's concerned with preserving anything of this man's memory beyond what might financially benefit her. See, look, this man's relationship with his wife was built on a foundation of wealth and status. But here's the cold truth. A relationship built on those terms is as shallow as it gets. Candace's quick transition to new life in Miami, even as lawsuits and debt collectors circle what remains of her husband's estate, shows just how little substance there was. See, a real legacy isn't just about money you leave behind. It's about the impact you have on people in your life. If this man had invested in a relationship built on mutual respect, shared values, then his legacy would have been about more than just dollars and cents. Instead, his wife is focused on maintaining her lifestyle with little regard for the chaos left in the wake of Brandon's death. Now, what's left of his reputation? Lawsuits, debt, and a family that's quick to move on. That's not a legacy anyone wants. His two little girls are left with the memory of a father who couldn't manage the financial and emotional pressures he faced. They're going to grow up knowing that their dad's wealth, which they once enjoyed, was a facade. Now that they're left to deal with the fallout. I need 6 more super chats. And here's the thing. Here's the ultimate cost of leading with your wallet. Instead of your character instead of your character. You're leading with your wallet instead of your character. It erodes a very respected reputation you worked so hard to build. This man's life and ultimately his passing, his death, became a cautionary tale of what happens when you place material success over all else. Brandon could have built a legacy that his children would be proud of. One that would have provided them with not just financial ability, but also strong moral foundation. Instead, they're left with a mess and the knowledge that their father's life was defined by an endless pursuit of wealth to appease a partner, a woman, a wife who was more interested in what he could provide than he was the man. Imagine if Brandon had prioritized character. Imagine if he had prioritized integrity. Imagine if he had prioritized that over material wealth. Imagine if he had chosen a woman who valued those same qualities. Well, of course, his legacy in his life would have been one of wisdom and strength, enduring success. Instead, he's the dude who unalived himself in his garage. See, these are the dangers that come when you base your life on illusions rather than reality. When you prioritize appearances over substance, and when you lead with wealth instead of character. This woman, his wife, built her brand, Mama and Tata, on a showcase, showcasing the image of perfection, high fashion. Shout out to Raider 21. She perfected her life on luxury. She showcased a life of luxurious living. The kind of lifestyle that many aspire to, but few really understand. The Instagram account became a self-promotional machine, a way for Candace to project an image of herself as the epitome of elegance and success. It was all about appearances, all about showing the world a picture-perfect life. But what happens when the curtain is pulled back? What happens when the image is revealed to be nothing more than smoke and mirrors? Candace was busy building her online empire, and her husband was living a very different reality. He shunned social media. With all these iPhones and all his money, this dude had a flip phone. Somebody type flip phone in the chat room. He didn't even have any social media. And this is a clear indication that he wasn't interested in the digital facade that had become his wife's world. His focus was on business. But even there, cracks were beginning to show. Because see, behind the scenes, the Millers were struggling. And she knew he was struggling. They had lost the house. This man was drowning in debt, and yet she was still spending. He took mortgage after mortgage out just to keep their lifestyle afloat, and she was still spending. She continued to entertain guests, continued to project the image of wealth and success. And and by this point, nothing more than, it was just a desperate illusion. And let's not forget the human cost. As I said earlier, by the fall of 2023, this man was under so much pressure, he began crying in business meetings. Can you imagine a grown man begging, "Man, we got to put this deal together. I need to get this deal together. Please, just please, let's get this deal together." Imagine that. You negotiating with somebody, you here to talk square business, and he's begging and pleading to put this deal together. I can't do business with a desperate man. Nobody wants to do that. That's just bad. That's just basic businesses. You don't do business with people who are desperate. This is a man who reached the breaking point. He was carrying the weight of a life that was rapidly unraveling. And what was his wife doing all this time? She was still living the fantasy world on Instagram, still projecting the image of perfection while her husband was crumbling under the weight of her shared lives. And remember, she didn't care. She don't empathize with him. "Yeah, honey, I broke down crying in the meeting today." You think she cares? See, the truth can't be hidden forever. See, the truth can't be hidden. Look, it's only so much you can stand up. And when his wife finally learned about the extent of the financial troubles, it was because someone else, Brandon's lender, had to tell her. And they don't come tell you with a soft phone call. They start sending letters and lawsuits. She then confronted Brandon. But even then, this simp just said, no, don't worry about it, honey. Because he wanted to look like a hero. Somebody typed hero in the chat room. He then tried to reassure her that everything was under control, but it wasn't. And it never had been. The life they were living was a house of cards, and it was about to come crashing down. In his final days, they were marked with desperation. He borrowed more money and made more promises, but it was all too little. This man had $8,000 in the bank account. $8,000. I think my oldest son got more money in his bank account than this man. This man had $8,000 in the bank account. Multiple houses in Hamptons in New York, everything over, mortgages due. He was trying to get a loan for $1,000. He was trying to put a deal together that was supposed to save everything from falling apart. And he just, at that point, just gave up and made the decision to end his life. Did I tell you that his wife was over on a European tour at the time he was dealing with this, spending money, taking personal private jets to Europe with the two daughters? That's what she was when he was over here struggling. He left a note behind explaining that, yeah, I didn't tell you the whole truth, but she knew. She had to know what was going on. He wasn't struggling in the dark by herself. She knew. She just didn't want to know. Now, his wife is being sued for the mortgage. The dream is over. The Instagram page, Mama and Tata, his Instagram page is offline. This carefully crafted, curated image is gone. People are laughing at them on the internet. There's nothing but debt, lawsuits, and a broken family. Now, this man thought he was doing the best for his family by unaliving himself because he left behind a life insurance policy and hoped that it would secure their future. Shout out to my man, Sir Anthony. This man's situation is a perfect example of how important spaces like this are for all men in this modern environment. There's a harsh truth about life insurance policies. There's typically a little clause in there, and I need 4 more super chats, and I'll be at 20. There's a little clause in these life insurance policies that say, if you unalive yourself, no collection. Bottom line is, no amount of money can buy back this man's legacy. It was never built on solid ground in the first place, nor can it replace the loss of a father or a son or a brother, family member. This is a powerful reminder that when you build your life on appearances, when you lead with your wallet instead of your character, the collapse is inevitable. I hope y'all hear me. I hope y'all hear me. These two people, their psychology was totally different. And it's illustrated by their contrasting approach to social media and lifestyle. And it reveals a deep fundamental difference in their values, self-perception, and what they sought from in life. You a high-value man. You believe in making your money. You don't need one of these flamboyant social media type broads, man. If I could just speak to you with ebonic inclinations. That's not the type of woman you want. This was a woman who had a need for external validation. Her love for social media and the constant flaunting of wealth indicate a personality driven by the need for external validation. Maybe she grew up poor. I don't know. Maybe she grew up in one of those countries that they don't have. I don't know. All I know is social media became a tool for her to curate and protect an image of herself, of one that's glamorous and wealthy and seemingly perfect. Maybe this is her conciliatory prize for being with a man she didn't really desire. So she was going to show you, yeah, I might not like my husband, I might not love my husband, but I'm rich. And that's the consolation prize. But the constant posting and showing off of luxury items and the emphasis on her lavish lifestyle, all that suggests that this woman derived a significant portion of her self-worth from the approval and admiration of others. And this behavior points to an underlying insecurity, a need to be seen and validated by a wide audience. In many ways, social media acted as a mirror for this woman, reflecting back the image she wanted to believe of herself. However, this reliance on external validation is a double-edged sword. It can lead to a fragile, or should I say, it can lead to self-esteem issues. It makes you overly dependent on opinions of others. It makes it difficult to cope with criticism, failure, or the reality that lies beneath the curated image. What about this man, Brandon Miller? What does it say about his preference for privacy? What does it say? The fact that this man avoided social media and used the flip phone suggests vastly different as far as his psychological makeup. Brandon seemed to prefer privacy and was likely more grounded in reality. I mean, he was a real estate broker. Who was more grounded than really? You walk in a couple of houses with roaches and rats in Harlem, you very that grounded. His rejection of the digital world and his superficial validation, that signals a man who values substance over appearance, someone who perhaps felt uncomfortable with his life on display for others to judge. And this could also point to a sense of self-reliance and more introspective, a more introspective nature as a person. He didn't need a constant feedback loop on social media to feel validated or successful. He was likely more focused on tangible achievements and realities of his business. Even those realities became increasingly difficult to manage. So she's living in a delusional world and he's living in a real world. And him trying to allow her to stay in that delusional world that she is destroyed him in real life. Damn. And that could be you. Somebody type no in the chat room. Somebody type no in the chat room. This was a clash of values. And he was willing to compromise his values, please his woman. Somebody type no in the chat room. It highlights a deep disconnect between their values and priorities. The wife's values in her world revolved around maintaining an image, while the husband's values seemed to revolve around maintaining or managing the harsh realities of their financial situation. And this difference would have created significant tension between them. The wife was busy projecting the image of wealth and success, and this man was silently struggling to keep the image from collapsing under the weight of the debt. I need 4 more super chats. Either if the man had not passed away by unaliving himself, their marriage would have ultimately failed. Because this is the type of marriage that failed to provide the support that the husband desperately needs. The wife's focus was on external validation through social media. And that left her less attuned to the internal struggles her husband was facing. There's an old song, I was turning my hand while I was learning my man. Y'all remember that song, Betty Wright? I was turning my hand while I was learning. An intelligent woman is always in tune to what her man's doing. She has his facial expressions memorized. She knows all his tics. She can read him like the back of her hand. That's an intelligent, emotionally intelligent woman. But this woman was so busy on social media, she wasn't paying attention to the internal struggles of her husband. Did I tell you that at the time this man unalived himself because of financial issues that he was facing because of her extravagant spending, that his wife was on a European tour with their 2 daughters, spending money that they didn't have? Did I tell y'all that? When we talk about how unattuned or untuned into to her husband she was, this is how tone deaf this woman was. And it just shows she just really didn't care. And some of y'all dealing with women like that. They just really don't care what you're dealing with. That's why you sitting in the driveway right now, because you don't want to go in the house. Or you might be sitting in the driveway right now, or Monday afternoon, because you don't want to go in the house. Because you don't want to deal with her. That's why you're cheating on her right now. Because your side chick will listen to you when your wife won't. I know I'm talking to somebody out there in YouTube land, fellas. That's why you go to the strip club. You go in there and tell the stripper all your business about what your wife is not doing and what's wrong with you, what's going on at the job, because your wife is so in tune with you. You got a whole side chick, and now you might have a baby on her. When you think about knocking this broad up, I feel so close to you, and all she does is listen to your hogwash. And this same woman don't even listen to her husband, but she listen to you. Somebody type praise God in the chat room. Somebody type praise Moses in the chat room. I know what you do. Shout out to Urban Eagle. So that marriage was destined to fail, just like many of y'all's marriages and relationships are destined to fail. Somebody say, ain't that crazy? Yeah. Somebody say, yeah, I know you. I know you men better than you know yourself, because I know myself. Know thyself. And once you know who you are because of the shared existence and the shared experience of all you, I know you, fellas. Wisdom is only the knowledge itself, actually. That's where wisdom comes from. And all I'm doing is explaining to you who you are so you know you're not crazy. And I'm telling you what you're going to do. I'm giving you a roadmap of what's going to happen. When you deal with a woman who doesn't support you, who's not attuned to you, you're going to go get that attunement somewhere else. Hallelujah. Now, this woman's a reliance on social media. And I know it's some ladies in here. You want to know why your man cheating? He might just be a dog. He might just want to get some street meat. Somebody type street meat in the chat room. He might just want some street meat. Or he might be with that woman because he has an emotional connection with her because she listens to him. And I'm not saying it's your fault for why your man is cheating on you, why he got that long-term side chick that he been with, that he know that you don't have, that he had. I know. It's not your fault. I tell men don't cheat all the time. Nevertheless, and I'm not making excuses for them, because again, fellas, don't cheat. I understand why a man would gravitate towards another woman who listens to him, especially when your wife doesn't. You so busy focused on what your sister doing and her dealing with her problems with her husband and your mama, you got to take care of mama and daddy. You not listening to your man. Your man is out there pleading for help and crying for help, and you not listening. You think you could just shove some food in his face and put that old that roast beef sandwich on him every now and then, and he'll be all right. But he actually needs you to listen to him. Otherwise, he's going to run to the arms of another woman because she's listening to him. It's a reality. Nevertheless, back to this situation we're dealing with, this woman's reliance on social media and the need to showcase her wealth likely made her less aware of the internal dynamics of her marriage. And of course, that being the case, she's less responsive to the real pressing issues that her husband was dealing with. And this external focus can lead to a disconnect from the realities of life and the diminished capacity to deal with challenges in a stubborn way. This man is damn near ready to kill himself, and she taking a European vacation, still spending money. The husband's avoidance of social media and his old-fashioned flip-flop phone symbolizes a man who is out of sync with his wife's world. He's not in her world, she's not in his. His psychological preference for privacy may have been a double-edged sword. While it's protecting him from the superficial pressures of social media, it also isolates him in his struggle. He had no help. He needed the manosphere. Somebody type manosphere in the chat room. He needed the white manosphere, the black manosphere, the Asian manosphere. He needed every aspect of it because he was isolated and he was struggling. And it made it harder for him to reach out, to be reached, because nobody knew. Their differing psychological approaches also point to a fundamentally incompatible worldview. He shouldn't have never been with that woman because her world was one of appearances and external validation, and his was of internal struggles and the harsh realities of the financial stress that we're dealing with. This is incompatibility. I need 3 more super chats. That incompatibility would have made it difficult for them to truly connect on a deeper, more meaningful level, which requires, which is required for any sort of marriage or relationship. Here's the thing. He had a hero complex. Come on now, let's get down to, he had a hero complex. Somebody type hero complex in the chat room. This man had a hero complex. Let me know if y'all with me. Somebody type hero complex in the chat room. He had a hero complex. Here's the thing, fellas. I need 3 more super chats. Men have this ingrained desire to be a hero. It's in our DNA. We want to be the provider, protector, the one who swoops in and makes everything right. But here's the thing. When you let that desire go unchecked, it can lead you down a dangerous path. Somebody type simp in the chat room. You start thinking that your worth as a man is tied to how much you can provide, how much you can spend, and how well you can keep up with the demands of the woman in your life. That's exactly what happened with Brandon. He got so caught up in the providing, right? His manhood, his worthiness to Candace, that was it. So he kept on spending. Shout out to Raider 21. Well, let me say it like this. He got so caught up in proving his manhood and his worthiness. That was the only way he could be a hero to his wife and his daughters. He kept spending money he didn't have, taking out loans he couldn't afford, all to maintain an image that was nothing more than a fantasy. He wasn't just trying to be a good husband. He was trying to be a perfect hero in a fairy tale that was never real to begin with. Here's another thing. Somebody type princess syndrome in the chat room. I need 2 more super chats. Let's talk about Candace. Somebody type princess syndrome in the chat room. She played the role of princess to perfection. She wanted a luxurious lifestyle, the designer clothes, the endless vacations, and she didn't just want them, she expected them. In return, she didn't do anything but live a luxurious lifestyle. Lavish. Somebody type lavish in the chat room. She didn't do nothing. Is there any videos of her cooking or cleaning anything? Huh? Her Instagram was basically a shrine to her fantasy life, where she was the princess living in a castle with her perfect little Barbie daughters. But here's the problem with that. When you play the role of princess, you expect to be catered to. You expect every whim to be met. You expect the man in your life to keep delivering no matter the cost. And this time it cost this man his life. This woman didn't care where the money came from as long as it kept flowing. And there's a lot of chicks out there who are dating scammers, dope boys, and criminals who are taking penitentiary chances just to try to keep the money flowing. Those are the women you dudes need to get away from. Because just like this situation, they didn't care. She didn't care about her husband was drowning in debt. Just like a lot of these women don't care if your man is taking penitentiary chances. As long as she can keep up appearances. And she sure as hell didn't care about the pressure he was under to be the hero, even when it was killing him. And this dynamic between the hero and the princess is toxic as hell. It sets up a situation where a man feels like he has to keep proving himself over and over and over again through material means, while the woman sits back and enjoys the spoils without a second thought to the cost. And look, don't get it twisted. This isn't love. This is dependency. This is manipulation. This is a recipe for disaster. Look, Brandon wasn't just trying to be a good husband. He was trying to live up to an impossible standard set by his wife. And he was killing himself, literally trying to maintain that lifestyle. A lifestyle that was never sustainable. All because he thought that's what it took to be a man. That's what it took to be a man or to be a hero. I need 2 more super chats. Now, the harsh reality is Brandon's need to play hero and Candace's need to play princess destroyed them both. He lost his life trying to be something he never had to be. And she left, but she's left with nothing but ashes of a life built on lies and illusions. The daughters, those 2 little Barbie dolls, those are the ones who'll suffer the most growing up knowing that their father died trying to give their mother a life that was nothing but a fairy tale. Fellas, listen up. Your worth isn't just tied to how much money you can spend or how well you can keep up with someone else's demands. If you think you need to bankrupt yourself emotionally and financially to be a man, then you're dead wrong. A real man leads with his character, with his values. And he finds a woman who values him for who he is, not just for what he can provide. Women, if you see yourself, and I know we got some ladies out here, shout out to Nice Shut Productions. I see you. I'm just for you. I'm talking to you. If you see yourself as a princess who deserves to be catered to at any cost, then you're setting yourself up for a life of disappointment and shallow relationships. A real relationship is built on mutual respect, shared values, and a commitment to building something real, not just living in a fantasy. This whole story should be a wake-up call. This whole hero-prince dynamic, this old simp, this simptastic conversation is toxic and it's unsustainable. And it's time to break the cycle. You fellas need to stop trying to be the hero by throwing money at a problem. Women, stop trying to play princess. Disney got y'all all messed up. You don't need constant pampering and validation. Build your life and your relationship on something real, something that can stand the test of time, not a fairy tale that's designed to crumble. And that's the only way to build a life. That's the only way to build a real relationship, something worth having. That's the harsh truth. Shout out to Louis Harper. Shout out to Devo Foster. Oh, yeah, we made it. We got 20. That's plenty. Y'all can keep giving. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep talking. Now, what lessons did we learn here? Fellas, let's recap. What lessons did we learn here? It's several. Character, not wealth. And we talk about lessons, relationships for financial management and building a legacy, because I want you to be rich. I want to see you ball. I want to see you do well. I want to see you be respected. My legacy is tied to your legacy, brothers. As black men, when you do well, I do well. It's better for our sons. It's better for our daughters. It's better for the community at large. So I want to see you ball. That's the interest that I have in it. Now, as I said, lead with character, not wealth. True wealth is not just about money in your bank account. It's about your character, your values, your integrity. We talked about that. And when you lead with your wallet, you attract people who value you only for what you provide materially, which is a recipe for disaster. A strong foundation of character will build relationships and legacy that lasts far beyond any financial success. Another thing, avoid the hero complex. Men often fall into the trap of feeling like they need to be the hero, providing endlessly and proving their worth through material means. This mentality, that's going to lead to financial ruin and emotional exhaustion. A real man is defined by his values and how he leads with integrity, not by how much money he can throw at a problem. Another thing, for you ladies who are listening, y'all coming over here, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something right now. Stop trying to play princess. Women who see themselves as a princess, who deserve to be pampered and catered to at any cost, set themselves up for shallow relationships and disappointment. A real woman, a real relationship is built on mutual respect, shared values, and commitment to building something substantial, not just living out a fantasy. Fellas, the woman you choose to be with should align with your values. They should align with your goals and your vision for the future. If your relationship is built on materialism and appearances, it's only a matter of time before it crumbles. See, a supportive woman who values you for who you are is not just what you can provide. It's crucial for a lasting, fulfilling relationship. And here's another thing. Financial independence isn't just about money. It's about managing wisely, living within your means, avoiding unnecessary debt, and making smart financial decisions are likely, that's the key to maintaining stability and building a long-lasting legacy. And excessive spending and lack of financial discipline is going to lead to ruin. Type no in the chat room. Why can't you just tell your wife no? Shout out to my man Frank Whitaker, Uncle D. I had to pull the car over just to send this. You were cooking. Just shout out, hey man, you need to get to where you going, baby. You can't be out here pulling on the side of the road. Speaking in many ways to my circumstances soon to end. Hopefully, amicably, never again do this step, doing the step, pappy. Ooh, yeah, boy, you got, praise God. Man, get through it, brother. Get through it. Get through it. And let me see what he ended it with. Got to get better. You got to get it together, baby. Woo! Yes, Lord. That was a mistake, but that's all right. It's not too late. All right. What other lesson did we learn? That was the first 5. What about long-term planning over short-term gratification? Successful individuals plan for the long term rather than focusing on short-term pleasures and appearances. And this includes saving and investing and wisely preparing for potential returns. Long-term financial health requires foresight and discipline to resist immediate temptations. The other thing is health, and well-being. That matters. That man unalived himself at 40 years old. He had another 40 years to get himself. The truth is, he could have declared bankruptcy, fam. And all these problems would have gone away. But guess what he did? He unalived himself because he couldn't take the fact that if he declared bankruptcy, his wife was going to leave him. She was going to be in Miami irregardless. Okay? That was her escape plan. We can see that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Nevertheless, financial stress and the pressure of maintaining a certain lifestyle, that's going to have a devastating effect on your mental and your physical health, fellas. And it's crucial to recognize when financial pressures are becoming overwhelming, okay, it's time to seek help before it's too late. Your health is the most valuable asset you have. Don't sacrifice. up appearances from someone. I don't care if you're married or not. I don't care how many kids you have for your life. You only get one. Somebody type no in the chat room. And you can add whatever expletive behind it for your own emphasis. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get this. Y'all barely got me to 20 super chats. So I'm not going to say it, but no, the next time your woman asks you to overextend yourself financially, no expletive. Okay? You can put hell no, before or after. No. Okay? No. No. Yet. Now. Hell no. Don't build your life on appearances. That's another thing we focused on. Build a life based on appearances is like building in quicksand. It's inevitably, it's going to collapse. True success and fulfillment come from building something real and meaningful, not from trying to impress people with the facade of wealth. Who is she trying to impress? Some people on Instagram. You stress your husband out, stunting for the gram. Your daughters are going to be right. Yeah, your mama was the one that used to be all on Instagram. Yeah, trying to keep up. Look what it did to your daddy. Is that a legacy? Whew. Your legacy shouldn't be about money, okay? It shouldn't be about just the money you leave behind. It's about the values you instill in your children and the impact you have on people around you. Make decisions that'll benefit the future generations. Focus on creating something that'll endure long after that. This man could have built a library in his old neighborhood. But his woman is tricking it off on European vacations and pedicures and weekly floral arrangements and yacht trips up and down the Hudson River. You understand? All my people in New York know what I'm talking about. The other thing, and the most important thing, if you don't hear anything else I say, break this toxic cycle, this hero-princess dynamic. It's toxic and unsustainable. Men and women need to break this cycle because it's a sign of low self-esteem. I ain't met a simp yet that didn't have low self-esteem. I didn't meet a get-the-bag chick yet. This princess, you got low self-esteem. Because you got other people, your relationships are based on materialism and superficial expectations. Because that makes you feel better about your inadequacies. And that's what you base your relationship on instead of building a relationship and lives based on mutual respect, shared values, and substance. Look, these lessons that we just went over apply broadly and serve a powerful reminder that real wealth, success, and legacy are built on solid foundations of character, integrity, and thoughtful, disciplined decision-making. Now, this transcends black and white, and that's what we did tonight. Because many people in my comment section say, you need to help us white folks too. Well, I didn't help you. Now, I'm going to get back to the black. But we're not going to do that till I get back. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the Blizzard King, and we're going to read some of these super chats. Y'all make sure y'all hit the #1 button and subscribe to the channel.
There you go. I like that clap. Woo! Not bad to be light skinned, huh?
Yeah. Welcome back to the broadcast. First, I want to give a big shout out to me for contributing $99.99. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. YouTube has been unsubscribing my subscribers, Ice Lords, and the Blizzard King. Look, fellas, I am losing subscribers not because of anything I'm doing, but because YouTube and I are having a tiff. Some of you all know that I've filed a lawsuit against YouTube because they've been, in my opinion, keeping proceeds that they shouldn't have been keeping from you all, the fans, and also many content creators. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead and do that now. And also thank you to everybody who's up in here, man. Number one, if you can hear me. Big shout out to my man, Internet Passport. Salute, Blizzard King. Thank you for your time. Thank you too, brother. I appreciate you paying me for my time, baby. You know, if you like quality, I can keep delivering. You see what I'm saying? I don't mind doing that at all. Big shout out to Black Wall Street for your nephew. Rip to the Godfather. Rip. Oh, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Thank you so much, brother. Black Wall Street, once again, he says, rest in peace, Brandon Miller. Yeah, man, you know, that's a terrible situation. You know, I'm not speaking ill of the dead. We got to make it. We got to talk about it, though. Why did this man unalive himself? You know, what happened? You know, this is necessary. This is how we build ourselves as men. Black Wall Street for the complexion plate. Rip Brandon Miller, again, thank you so much, man. Drew Beats, no questions, comments, just for the love. Thank you so much, fam. I appreciate that. Who else we got up in here? We got Ghetto Hauser for the plate. Yeah, baby, for the plate. Thank you so much, fam. The guy in the black suit, good looking out, bro. Preach. I'm going to keep preaching, baby. Somebody type amen in the chat room. Also, Alex Wolf 5. Thank you so much, sir. $20 tuition. Appreciate you, brother. Sir Anthony, thank you for the $5. Salute, black men. We also got Alex Jones. Appreciate the wisdom. Thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you for the 5. Educated disciple. Thank you for the outstanding class. Yeah, man, no problem, brother. I appreciate you. Glow Hardy, thank you for the message. Yes, sir, man. I appreciate y'all being very appreciative of this message, man. It takes a lot to dissect these, man, and I appreciate y'all appreciating the quality. You know what I'm saying? The other thing is I want to give a big shout out to Raider 21. Keep educating us black men to a higher level, brother D. I shall do that, man. All right, I'm back. We lost a little bit, but we back on stack. My man, where we leave off at? Raider. Where my man Raider at? I see you. Raider, keep educating us black men to higher level. I will, brother. Who else we got up in here? We got Sir Anthony. This man's situation is a perfect example of how important spaces like this are for men in this modern environment. It certainly is, man. Everybody's welcome to my page. I just tailor my broadcast to black men. But you can learn lessons. Everybody can learn lessons, but I'm going to keep tailoring my broadcast to black men because I'm a black man. It only makes sense, right? Right? That's what I'm supposed to do. And we have such a dearth in resources over here as far as, you know, men. Why would I try to expand out and deal with the issues that Asian men are dealing with? You know what I'm saying? They don't need me. They got plenty of rich Asian dudes out there that can talk to them about the issues that they would know better. And I'm gonna just stay in my lane so I don't get hit. Shout out to Super Sticker from Louis Harper. Louis Harper. Thank you so much. Also, Devo Foster. Thank you. Big shout out to Frank Whitaker. And I read this. I'm gonna read it again. He said, Uncle D had to pull the car over just to send this. You are cooking, speaking in many ways to my circumstances. Soon to end, hopefully amicably. Never again doing the step Papa. Gotta get her. Yeah, man, you marry a woman who has kids, you can expect to spend twice as much as you would on her alone. Just keep that in mind also. All right. I mean, these lovely ladies always talk about, well, I got kids, my kids shouldn't matter to you. They do matter. That's another mouth to feed. Straight up. My man H Dog said, great show. Thank you so much, brother. So here's the thing. We got 23 super chats. I'm gonna see if I can get another 7 out of y'all with this blistering closing statement. Now, here's the thing. All right. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come right back and we're going to close this thing out, man. I got some tough words for you. If you got tender ears, you may want to change the broadcast. This might be enough for you. This is going to be the end all. All right. We're going to take it in. Give me two more super chats. And in the meantime, to cover the theme of this song, I'm going to get a little X-rated here. I not X-rated, but it's gonna be a little tough. So anybody who's a little tender ear, we're gonna bring a blast from the class because I want y'all to check this out, man.
Oh, if she got her nipples pierced, got ass from here to here, then you know that she's a hoe.
I can't do it. I can't do it. Shout out to everybody who came through. But anyway, look, man. Look. Serious, all serious business. Serious business. Gosh, where do I start? Man, let's not sugarcoat it. You know, let's not cakewalk this thing. Okay. This man, Brandon Miller, right? He's now being painted as the villain in this whole tragic mess. This is the fella that unalives himself. His wife is all of a sudden this poor grieving widow who had no idea what was going on. So the whole narrative is shifted, with Candace being treated like she was blindsided by her husband's financial troubles, even though she was the very person who inspired, if not demanded, the extravagant lifestyle that led to those troubles in the first place. The harsh reality is this man had options. He could have filed bankruptcy, wiped his slate clean, and started over. But to do that, he would have had to confront the truth and admit failure and deal with the fallout, including the very real possibility that his wife would have packed up, taken his kids, and moved to Miami, just like she did after he was gone. That was clearly in the playbook all along. And deep down, he knew it. But instead of facing his adversity, the looming specter of financial ruin, this husband chose to maintain the illusion of being the hero. He thought that losing it all would mean losing his family, his status, and his identity as a man. And in that moment of despair, he made the ultimate mistake. He chose the illusion over the reality, the facade over the truth. This, my brothers, is a cautionary tale for every man who leads with his wallet instead of his character. It's easy to get caught up in the role of provider, the hero, the one who gives everything until he can't. But a real man doesn't measure his worth by the size of his bank account or the luxury of his lifestyle. A real man is accomplished because of his character, his integrity, and his ability to confront the challenges that life throws at him head on, not by hiding behind the mask of wealth. This man's tragedy, this man's tragic end, is a warning to all men. Don't let the fear of losing it all stop you from doing what's right. Don't let the pressure to be a hero drive you to the point where you can't see a way out. And most importantly, and I want y'all to hear me on this, fellas. Listen, don't tie your worth to your wallet. Don't tie your worth to your car. Don't tie your worth to your house. Don't tie your worth to anything material, because when the money is gone, all you'll have left is who you are. So make sure that's something worth holding on to. I love you guys. This is Uncle D. I'm out.
Dennis Burling Podcast. Hit the like button, subscribe.